Bueno, estamos con Helena Rey. Ella es gerenta de proyectos en UNEP y la verdad que es muy importante que esté aquí en Argentina. Ella está trabajando en Francia, en París, en sus oficinas en París, y nos va a contar un poco todo lo que viene haciendo dentro de las Naciones Unidas en el área de responsabilidad que está dirigiendo. Hello, Helena. Nice to meet you. Thank you for your time today for us, for Agenda RSC. It's a pleasure to have you in Argentina. Thank you for coming for this event. And I would like to ask you about, well, a brief about your speech, about the most important things for our audience to show your work in United Nations. Um,
Yes. I think that the most important message that I'm going to I talk today during the conference Sustainable Brands is that the old solutions, the old business models, they are not long valid in this complex world with so multiple crises, the crisis of food, the crisis in economy, the crisis of terrorism, the crisis of social and development disruption. Um, the, there is a need for a rethinking in the way that these business models are being developed. We have developed a methodology on eco-innovation that helps small and medium enterprise to go through this rethinking model. We have also developed a lot of tools to this end. One of the most important things in terms of any new rethinking is also leadership. It's important to have leaders that do believe that they are doing good and that they're improving business operations, not only for saving resources, but also to support livelihoods at communities. I presented several tools today. Among of those, a business case where we collect cases from several countries on how they are doing eco-innovation. And we are also going to launch another publication um, that will take into consideration the pilot project that we have done with 56 small and medium enterprises.
okay, very interesting, Helena. And you told me that enterprises that are led by women are especially supported by United Nations.
Yes, from the early stages of a project concept, we are required to do a gender analysis. The gender analysis requires a think in terms of how not only women but its advantageous groups will be benefited with the project. So this is taken into consideration, and we have indicators such as number of policies that we could influence on women empowerment, for instance, or number of meeting participants in our trainings, or number of businesses that are led by women that we have helped improved. So this is not only needed at local level, but at global level. There is only few countries in the world that have good policies on women empowerment and balance. And I think that the UN, as one of key organizations in developing in sustainable development and peace, should be promoting this kind of approach towards to women.
Very interesting, Helena. And there are some presentation of cases of leadership, of women leadership in United Nations. In Argentina, for example, we have a woman representative from United Nations. Do you think that you could work interconnected with this with on your women? You know, Tamar Khan.
Yeah.
She did a presentation yesterday, very interesting, and we are very hope about her role in the United Nations. So, are you thinking to work coordinated with her?
Yeah, we are working with the UN Women Organization in several projects. You know, we don't have a specifically line of operation, but we have mainstream gender consideration in our operations. So even for selecting people at our organization, we have to consider gender balance, you know, in the selection process. So more and more we are seeing that it's an advantage in some ways being a woman. Unfortunately, it's not the case in all organizations, and we see that many organizations they just want to fill the quotas for for a woman classification, but most of the women they they are not in direction positions. They are in eventually management position at project level, but more senior positions are still being occupied by men.
Uh-huh. Very interesting, very interesting. Well, Elena, is there any other question that you would like me to ask you? I don't want to lose anything important from your staying in Argentine.
I think that one of the things that is not really a question, but I would like to understand more why, you know, in Argentina they're not scaling up um, the movement towards more resource efficient, you know, industry. I'm asking myself, you know, why Argentina is taking so long in relation to countries such as Chile, as Brazil. They are major competitors, and looking at sustainability as a way and an edge, an advantage edge in relation to the competitors. So I cannot answer this question, but the only thing that I can offer is that we can support, you know, small and medium enterprise and those initiatives to really scale up the the the, the, the results that they have and bring to another different model, bring to another level for business models in the country.
And which are the tools that you have to, or that you ask for organizations to accomplish? For example, do you have some requirements for these organizations, small and medium business, to apply to be promoted by you? Because I understand that sometimes there is not good communication between organizations, different kind of organizations, because they have different culture of presenting that important information. So perhaps you have some some kind of requirements to say that an organization has to be supported by UNEP. So
We normally do a due diligence. So
yes, that's it.
looking at if the company, the type of businesses, for instance, we don't work with alcohol companies, so we have some principles, or tobacco companies. But in terms of small and medium enterprise, we in this due diligence we require if they are in good financial state, meaning that no owing money to anyone, or, you know, or not being bankrupted.
Yeah.
And we most of all we look for leadership. You
Okay.
know, it's like it's leaders that can change and
Yeah.
transform.
And how do you measure leadership?
Yeah, this is a difficult
issue.
issue. It's a difficult issue, but we try when we see leadership. It's when we see the will that it's not only to do better, but also the action. You know how much that organization has been trying to change. You know, and if they are seeking just an opportunity to have their project funded, or if they would like to really to engage in concrete actions. So for each one of our projects, we never work alone. So we have service providers and governmental organizations, and they set the criteria for the selection of these SMEs.
Do you think that this may be like a barrier between your organization and because sometimes there are many conflicts of interests,
Yes.
and if the government is not transparent, I'm not saying that my government is not transparent, okay, but sometimes it happens in developing countries, for example.
Yes.
So
Well, as UN agency, we have to trust the governments,
yeah,
and we know that transparency is an issue, but we try to select very well the countries that we work with. So our project, for instance, on innovation, we are working now with 8 countries. We are going for phase two, and eventually we'll come to Latin America. We don't know yet, but that has to be solved between the government and and main interested parties. So it's needed a participatory and
a third
consultative,
party,
yeah,
yeah,
consultative process.
yeah, I understand. Well, Elena, it was a pleasure to meet you and thank you for your time today. I'm sure that this interview will be very valuable for all our public to promote change and put purpose in action.
Thank you.
Thank you.